Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte. Can everyone at home hear me okay? Okay, very good. Thank you. So my name is Denise, and I'm one of the 6 Dharma leaders here at IMCC. And tonight we'll be continuing our series on using the Dharma for navigating challenging times. And tonight's talk will be on personal relationships. We've had a few requests over the last year or so on doing a talk about how the Dharma might relate to dating and relationships. So this talk does slant towards dating and early relationships, but I believe much of what's in the talk will also apply to relationships with spouses and family members and friends and principals. So I'd like to go over a little bit of what the Buddha said about relationships, and then touch on some thoughts about whether or not it's worthwhile pursuing a relationship, when to perhaps exit or consider exiting a relationship, and then some thoughts on love and some thoughts on maintaining a relationship. So I'll begin with some of the Buddha's words from the Sigalaka Sutta. He says, there are 5 ways a son should minister to mother and father. Having been supported by them, I will support them. I will perform duties for them. I will be worthy of my heritage. After their death, I will distribute their gifts on their behalf. And in reciprocation by the parents, they will restrain him from evil. Support him in doing good. Teach him some skill. Find him a suitable wife, and in due time hand over his inheritance, freeing him and them from fear of being without support, I think is the ... there. And it goes on, there are 5 ways a husband should minister to his wife. Now, I should mention that, do recall, some of these teachings are from about 25 to 2600 years ago, right? So you might notice some familial and gender-based roles that have different nuances these days. So the husband should minister to the wife by honoring her. Well, we can keep that one, right? Not disparaging her, not being unfaithful to her, by giving her authority, by providing her with adornments. Not too bad overall. Okay. And a wife to her husband should reciprocate by properly organizing her work, being kind to the servants.
Denise?
Yes?
I just got a message from the Zoomers that they need you to unmute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What? It's unmuted.
I just got it. So I don't know.
Okay, let me look at this. You're muted, I'm not muted, so hang one second for me. I think what's happening is I've got this connected. I think it's that audio problem again. Can you hear me now? You can hear me. Okay, Debbie can hear me. Okay, they can hear me. So let's go back. I'm going to take out this other microphone. It seems to cause some trouble. Oops. Apparently that's not a microphone, that's a camera. Okay. I will tell you what's not in my talk is a personal relationship with technology and laptops. Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me at home? Okay. Sound has been fine the whole time. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there then, sorry. Okay, I'm going to press on. Okay. So going back to how the wife should comport herself. Okay. Organizing her work, being kind to the servants, not being unfaithful, protecting their stores by being skillful and diligent in all that she has to do. And a man should minister to his friends and companions by gifts, kindly words, looking after their welfare, treating them like himself, and by keeping his word. Friends will reciprocate by looking after him when he's inattentive, looking after his property when he's inattentive. I'm not sure if that means doing the lawn when he's away. By being a refuge when he is afraid. That's lovely. And by not deserting him when he is in trouble. And by showing concern for his children. And I think the take-home message from this is it sounds like we should choose our friends wisely. The Buddha has another sutta that talks a bit about the 4 kinds of partnership or marriage. One is a wretch living with a wretch. A wretch lives with a goddess. A god lives with a wretch, and a god lives with a goddess. The first 3 sound like sitcoms, and the 4th sounds like an aspiration. A wretch destroys life, takes what is not given, engages in sexual misconduct, speaks falsely, and indulges in intoxicants, going against the 5 precepts, and has a heart of stinginess. A god or goddess abides by the 5 precepts, by abstaining from the destruction of life, and does not take what is not freely given, does not engage in sexually inappropriate behavior, speaks the truth, abstains from intoxicants, is of good character, and dwells in a heart free from stinginess. Both are faithful and generous, self-restrained, and of righteous living. They come together as husband and wife partner, if you will, full of love for each other. They're equal in virtue. When both are faithful and generous, you'll see when we have these circumstances, there is a knowing, a security, a stability. When there is mutual respect and regard for each other's well-being. Upon meeting someone, we often quickly surmise whether or not it's safe to continue connecting with these people that we meet, okay? We subconsciously have a cascade of judgments and expectations that are based on our own conditioning. It's a good idea to be honest with ourselves about our beliefs and values, to build trust in our ability to accurately see another person or event for what it truly is. This is a little trickier when we're perhaps dating and we're wanting something and we might have a mind clouded by sensual desire. So how can we become more astute for successful dating, promotion of intimacy in existing relationships, and to choose our friends wisely? So first we can consider whether or not we should choose to pursue a potential connection. It is wise to do our homework and know ourselves. Do we know who we truly are and what our values are and what we really want? We may think we want something, and deep down it might be quite different. Pay attention carefully when we're meditating so we can discover our truth. Perhaps you might even want to consider therapy to learn how your past and your beliefs affect your current relationships and choices. Are we awake and do we understand our choices? You can also consider using this relationship readiness assessment, which you can find online. It's a 72-item questionnaire. That sounds like a lot of questions, but they're good. And it encourages you to be brutally honest with yourself. And I'd like to share some of these sample questions. 1, do we know our vision and values? Are we clear by our values? Perhaps, do we live by them? That's another question that requires a lot of honesty. And perhaps we want to consider in our vision and values the precepts that we just talked about from the Buddha's teachings, or the 10 paramis. We've been talking about those over the last couple of weeks in a number of talks. I've left on some of the seats a page here. I wasn't sure how many would be here tonight. Folks can email me. I'll put my email in the chat later if you would like this list of some references and resources from this talk. Do we want to be with someone who doesn't follow the precepts? Do we want to be with someone who does not have a generous heart? Right? Do we know our own requirements in relationship? What are our must-haves in relationship, and what are the red flags? Do we know what we will tolerate in a relationship and not tolerate? Boundaries, such as physical or psychological violence or abuse, might be a good one to have as a strong red flag. So, can we recognize these red flags? We need to see clearly and not be clouded. And if we see the red flag, do we choose to walk away? I found it helpful to have this list, my green flags and my red flags. And I was determined, if I was with a person who possessed one of those red flags, that I was not going to continue that relationship no matter how much it might hurt. I need to build the skill to identify these red flags. I might identify them in writing. Can I be with someone and see them? And if one arose, accept that this was not the right fit for me. Move towards harmlessness. And are we clear about our personality traits and qualities and what we also value in a partner? Another question is, what are our needs? I thought this was kind of funny. I thought that was the must-haves. It's not. Our needs are actually negotiable. I learned from a dating coach. And I thought that was weird. But the reason why they're negotiable is because they're based in our belief system. And we need to examine our beliefs. Our beliefs may not be accurate. They are conditioned by those we have met in the past and our experiences. But it doesn't mean that everything will be as such. Do I ask for what I want and take responsibility for the outcome? Do I know my relationship histories? It is important to do relationship autopsies. I thought that was a great idea. Do we understand the past relationships, attitudes, choices, and behaviors and their outcomes? This question hit home for me. Asking if I'm really going to be honest with myself, no matter the cost of the honesty. I also need to be honest with others. This means I could lose a relationship, and that really scared the heck out of me. But it is uncovering and accepting the truth. What are our dating patterns? Do we expect a relationship to rescue us from emotional or financial problems? To escape loneliness? Are we using someone? We don't want to be used. We have to be aware if we're using someone else. We want to be careful of our motivations. That would be right view and right intention. Intention if it sounded like attention. Accountability to recognize when I am acting out of greed, hatred, or delusion, which may be disguised as wanting, fear, and confusion. An expert said, pay attention to getting the butterflies. It may be that grasping for someone's physical looks, and that may be grasping for their charisma. And ask yourself, if this person wasn't so attractive, would you still be interested in their traits, personality, and characteristics? Mark Manson says there are 4 reasons not to marry. 1 is to solve relationship problems. 2, out of fear of being alone. 3, to prove something to someone, including oneself. And 4, because of societal pressure. A clue that good relationships that last are not just about getting dopamine hits. It's not goal-seeking to get to the next thrill and to try to fill a void. We don't want to use the other. Rather, we want to seek a true relationship of mutual support, respect, and appreciation. Do we have a relationship exit plan? The best dating advice I think I ever got was don't date potential. Don't become goo-goo-eyed delusional. See reality. If 95% of your peeps are suggesting this is not a good partner, maybe you need to move on from only if, to what is. Do we effectively disengage from prospective partners who are not a good fit? We want to simply and honestly, in a caring and timely way, to inform someone that this is not a good match or fit for you. But you can wish them well in their endeavors. Short and sweet and simple. Dating is an opportunity for skill building. It can also be a way that we make new friends or get to know yourself better, get to know others better, especially those who don't conform to your biases. I know I needed to learn when I started dating again that not all men are the stereotypes I had in my head. Okay, so when should we pursue a deeper relationship? We want to know if the drive to be together is rooted in lust or fostered in intimacy. The former is based on clinging to sensual desire, and it is self-based. Intimacy is about developing connection, trust, giving the gift of vulnerability to take your protective walls down and let the other person in. A couple of years ago, I did a talk on what is love because I found it to be hard to define. And I thought, if I think I want love, shouldn't I know what it is I think I want? This definition is a smattering of the precepts, the Brahma Viharas, the Eightfold Path, and the Paramis. I do have those listed on this sheet here for reference. What I came up with at the time, an energy for safe connection grounded in trust. Born of goodwill with caring contact. Caring, honest, and tender words with wholehearted listening. Authentic support, knowing we are perfectly imperfect. Giving of mind, body, and spirit for the well-being of the other. With freedom from expectation. Voluntary vulnerability out of wisdom and compassion. Courage and stamina in another's trouble with unquestioning self-sacrifice. Out of gratitude for the other without possessiveness. Courage to ask for and extend forgiveness for the gift of harmony. And to be valued without condition. That's a lot to cover on a first date. I'm only kidding. I recently heard that love is an action, not a feeling. But my above definition is all about action. And you knew it was lacking something when I went back and reviewed it. And what it's lacking is the feeling, the guttural knowing. I can do those actions in the definition, but do I have the courage to really feel it? It's scary to love and to be loved. It requires vulnerability. And knowing that this will change, because nothing is permanent. Have you guys heard, do you know of Noah Kahn? He's a singer, and he has a song called The Vampire Song. And I love this line. It's knowing this can't go on forever. Likely, one of us will have to spend some time alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone. You'll be gone. How would I know if I'm truly feeling love for another? I think it's when I don't need the other person to feel it or say it back. That my love and kindness for the other person would be staying steady no matter their choices. I can let go, especially if it's for their well-being. I want to be mindful of clinging. As a dating expert, Sabrina Zohar, she says, you can get excited, but know why. And state to yourself, I feel this for now. Keeps you in the present experience rather than whipping up a narrative about the future. So now how do I get out? And how do I know if it's time to get out? We want to consult our requirements list from above. Are you betraying yourself to be in relationship? That is not right speech to yourself, and it's not right action to yourself. Mark Manson has a line, "It's better to be disliked for who you are than liked for who you are not." He says, front load your weird, and the right person will stay. So, are you drawn towards, or do you have a pulling away sensation when you're in someone else's company? Where do we feel it in our body? And what is your self-talk? Is your self-talk based in greed, hatred, and delusion? These might be some ideas that this is not going well. So there's a bit by Louis Katz, who is a comedian online, talking about this. And he says, we are all looking for perfect, and we all know we're not going to get perfect. So the question is, how much not perfect are you going to put up with? It's like a game of relationship blackjack. We're trying to get 21, but we're probably not going to get 21. But if we get 19, that's pretty good. Stay. But if you get 16, now you don't know what the heck to do. Do they check enough boxes? Psychologist Terry Real says, am I getting enough in this relationship to outweigh the grieving of what I am not getting? Letting go of what I am not getting without resentment. I don't need to fix the other person. That's up to them if they want to do that. But I do want to be in blessed okayness, equanimity, accepting of what is. And if I'm not in blessed okayness, it's probably not the relationship for me. When you're with this other person, do you feel a flush of dopamine, wanting, craving and angst if you don't get that fulfilled? That might feel exciting, but it's like constantly being on a roller coaster of up and down. That can be sickening after a while. Or does our time together generate peace, stability, connection, trust, a heart that wants to give? They did apparently some kind of experiments with an MRI testing the brain centers on being in love. It said motivation, drive, and hunger for a partner actually in the addiction center of the brain for craving and attachment. It's like being on cocaine or at the slot machines. It is intermittent reinforcement. And I'd just like to talk a little bit about some ideas on maintaining a relationship. Take responsibility to communicate honestly and with goodwill, and practice ethical behavior to maintain trustworthiness. We all want to be seen, heard, loved, and understood. And are we doing that for our loved one? And in times of trouble, perhaps you can ask the other, now, do you need help to be heard, to be held, or to have space? When triggered, pause and take a time out. Calm yourself to not become reactive. You want to avoid a spew of anger or fear that can maim a relationship. In closing, and I'm sorry, I know I've gone over a few minutes, I've adapted from the words of the divorce lawyer James Sexton on relationships. Relationship is not about becoming the version of oneself that one's partner has envisioned, or who they want you to become. Sometimes what they want you to be is not your most authentic version of yourself. Be of service to each other, to become each of each other's most authentic self. And on the last day, together comes. May you be able to say, you have helped me to become the most authentic version of myself. I love you, and you are still my favorite person.